We're breaking down walls because at the end of the day, we are one. Join me as I break down episode 2 of season 1 of Starfleet Academy right on the post-credit scene. What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Ferris Madonna. Welcome to another great episode of the post credits. Today we are continuing our review series of Starfleet Academy on Paramount Plus. It is episode 1 of season 2. Let's just get right into it. My overall thoughts initially, it was an emotional episode. It was a lot of discovery for a lot of characters, mainly some of the new characters that were introduced, and mostly for the main star Caleb Mir. We, like I said in my cold open, we literally are breaking down a wall in this episode to re-engage human connection. Starfleet Academy is entrusted with negotiating with a part of a group of people from a planet, a star system that was a part of the Federation years ago that is no longer a part of the Federation. They were entrusted to negotiate them rejoining the Federation. So the great people of Beta Z come to Starfleet Academy in San Francisco for negotiation, a ball in their honor, and to see if they find the right terms for them to rejoin the negotiation. So a lot of good moments in this episode happened. I really loved because it showed you initially when we initially start the episode. They introduce the other component of the Federation, the War College. So you see the juxtaposition of what the War College does and Starfleet Academy does, because War College, they kept them together for 120 years. During the burn, post-burn, the War College was there to protect and serve the Federation. And now Starfleet Academy, their star discovery and space discovery part of the Federation is being reborn. The War College is getting its just due, and I really like that. So you could see the juxtaposition, but also too, man, it is the War College. They're probably doing a little bit more, military stuff, military tactics, military precision, military training. That doesn't stop Cadet Master Laura Thrall from having her own military mastery and her own military training. And you can see how she always spots a runner, is what she said, because at the end of the day, you're going to go into this battle and you're going to die a glorious death. You're going to die with honor, because that's what Laura, I want to say the name right because it's tremendous. Cadet Master Laura Thrall. So remember that name. That name is tremendous as well. So pretty much this entire episode is all about the negotiation with Beta Z, but also to Caleb just trying to fit in this world. He's trying to fit in. Really, at the end of the day, he's insubordinate. He's interrupting class. He's not trying. He's fighting human nature's sense of integration. He doesn't want to integrate. He doesn't want to be a part of this. He's here because he was taken out of jail. He's here to do menial labor. He's here to do what was promised. Find my mother. Correction, it's not Goja 3, it's Goja 5. I apologize for my last where I called it Goja 3, so it's actually Goja 5. So he was promised, you will find my mother. We're going to find her on Goja 5. He's been, hacking stuff and just kind of being an annoying pest like he is. But, this is what we're in here for. We're trying to see his journey, going from that criminal that with the rap sheet to someone who, I don't know how it's going to go. Save the world, maybe? Sacrifice himself to save the world? We don't know yet. But we're seeing an evolution. He's also still 21. So he's still a youngster. So he's, of course, a knucklehead. So that's the other moments of the episode. It's mainly about the Beta Z negotiation and Caleb's development. Then they intertwine at one point in the episode. The episode being where Caleb, he's annoyed, and then he had the mucus fall on him, and then he's mad, and he's just he storms off, and he's trying to leave. He tries to hop a fence, but he gets caught by the president of Beta Z's daughter. He doesn't know it yet. He doesn't know it yet. Tamira, so she sees him and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "What?" And Beta Z people, the Beta Zs, they have an extreme sense of empathy. They can sense people's feelings. So she's sensing his conflict, his annoyance, his self-annoyance at himself because he thinks he's an idiot. He's like, what am I doing? I got mucus all over my body. I'm literally on a fence, because she literally says in the moment, you're literally on a fence. So he's like, what am I doing right now? This is crazy. This is just nonsense. And he gets off the fence and they start to talk. They're developing their relationship a little bit. And then she leaves, but then he goes after her. But then there's like a boundary at the school and he crosses the boundary. He's about to cross the boundary. And then they stop, like holograms pop up and two dudes stop him and say, hey, you're at your boundary. You can't come here. And he's like, hey man, I'm just trying to follow my friend. I'm following my friend. And then they tackle him, the holograms, and they whisk him away, and it's pretty funny. And then more about the negotiations, and the Beta Z president is really, really hammering the Federation, because the Federation admitted that they left them for dead. During the burn, the Venari Raw attacked them numerous times, so they had to create this wall to protect their star system. And the Federation, is admitting, the Federation presidents are like, yeah, we failed. We're sorry. We apologize for that, but it's time for reintegration. It's time we need to start connecting to one another, because when Beta Z isolated themselves, a lot of other people started isolating themselves. And this episode really is kind of, the stronger together, stronger together, we will be successful. Kind of like, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes it's strength in numbers. That's the biggest key of this episode. The biggest, kind of, theme of this episode is strength in numbers. And, Caleb, stumbles in the negotiation. He looks disgusting, disheveled. Everyone's like, what is wrong with you? Holly Hunter's character, Nala Ake, is like, dude, not cool. Then he finds out that the girl he was smitten with outside is actually the first daughter of the Beta Z president. And he's like, oh. And then they pause negotiations. And then another moment, the other big moment of this episode really is, so the first daughter, Tamira, wants a tour. And they're like, sure, we'll get you a tour. And she was like, I want my tour guide to be that guy. And she points at Caleb. So then Caleb and her go on this tour. And they're just developing their relationship, really. They're talking, they're talking all that stuff. He's saying, you want to, just kind of telling you what the Federation is. She feels, something. He's hiding something because of the empathy, like the strong sense of empathy and the way they can sense it. She says, you feel like you're a prisoner here. You're a prisoner here. What's up with that? And he's like, you feel like a prisoner as well. So what's going on there? Kind of turns it on her. And then he asks her, why were you outside? Why weren't you with the Beta Z group? She was like, she wants to watch the hunchback whales. I think that's what she said. And he then he finds out more about her. They're getting to know each other. You see they're developing a nice relationship. Probably a more romantic one, maybe a just platonic one. We'll see how it develops. He then says, you want to come with me somewhere? They go to the stellar cartography lab, which is about the stars. He's trying to find Goja 5. Goja 5 isn't there. But then she opens up her own stellar cartography database, because Beta Z has their own database. And Goja 5 is in that database because it was developed after the burn and after the wall came up. So just kind of they're exchanging stuff. They're exchanging cultures. They're exchanging information. But then as it keeps going on, he then brings her to see some of the whales, and the Beta Z president catches them. The Federation president catches them, and he says, "This is, I expected some friction, but not blatant disrespect." So he's like, "This is disrespect," and then it all disperses afterwards. And and that's pretty much another main point of this episode is about that. It's that relationship. Because later on, she goes and visits the war college, Caleb, and then she meets up with Caleb again, and her and Caleb are talking, and Caleb, says something that put her the wrong way, and then that relationship starts deteriorating, where she was like, I was upfront with you from the beginning. Why were you not upfront with me? Because Caleb, like we know, guys, at the age of 6, he loses his mother. He's been on the run. He's basically he's a felon. He's a criminal on the run. His rap sheet had 8, 12, 21. We all know about that in season 1. So of course he wasn't gonna outwardly give out, himself to this person he just met. And I think that's where the cultural differences is, because he's like, I don't trust easily. You just dumped your trust on me like that. So we got to meet in the middle. And that was another big component of this episode. And then it works out because, Holly Hunter's character, another moment with Caleb, they're in her office and she's telling him, for years, I had to make sure that kid was okay. The kid being Caleb, because he fled. Like, I had to know he was okay. And she was like, you're not that kid anymore. You're 21. You're a different person. Let's build something different. Let's build a relationship, like a different relationship. Hopefully you can take this seriously and build this relationship. Because at the beginning of the episode, she's telling this great speech to the academy, where she's like, to be a great member of Starfleet Academy, you got to do the little things, make your bed, be on class on time. She says, create stitching with your fellow Academy members to create a bigger tapestry, in a sense. And it's wonderful. Holly Hunter's monologues and her speeches, pretty tremendous. I'm a big fan of Nala Ake. And, in that moment where she's telling him, well, let's build something different. This episode it was all about, in episode 1, it was an action set piece. It was, they got attacked. They're fighting for their lives. This episode is all about knowing who they are and knowing who Caleb is, because he's probably gonna be the key to this series. Him and Nala Ake, finding out their relationship, how they operate, who they are, and that's what we're seeing. And then he says, she tells him more about his mother. She's like, yeah, we found out she's on Goja 5. We find out she studied physics. She has a great mind. She's giving him like, hey, I haven't stopped doing what we agreed upon. I am researching more about your mother. Let's build stuff. And then he then says something that triggers something in her mind. Physics is about building anew or something like that. And it popped in her mind. She's like, now I know how to fix the negotiation, because the big key in this episode is the Federation is trying to build a new base of operations. And, Singapore is up there, other names are up there, and then they're probably going to rebuild it in Paris where the old hub was. But then here's the thing, because Holly Hunter's character is big, because she shows the juxtaposition between her and the War College chancellor, where she knows about people. He's militaristic. He's about protecting people, going to war. She is, kind of hippie-ish. She has no shoes. She's walking around shoeless, which, come on. What's going on? That electron stuff, that don't mean nothing. So she's trying to connect people. And this is how she wins the Beta Z negotiation. She said, we're trying to build a relationship. We're trying to build a new relationship. And a way to build a new relationship is to tell Beta Z that the hub of the Federation will be built on Beta Z, because we believe in you and we hope you believe in us and hope we are one. And it wins the negotiation. And then Caleb has his come to Jesus moment with Tamira when she's about to leave, when he told her, like, hey, I don't trust easily. I slept in back alleys, dumpsters. I got beat up. But if you trust me and you build with me, I'll build with you. And everything just kind of comes to head because it's at the end of the day, the more we're different, the more we're the same. And that's what this episode is really telling us about. The more we're different, the more we're the same. I'm gonna highlight some characters that I really liked. Like I said, we were introduced to Tamira, I think it's Tamira, but also too we're introduced to Tig Notaro's character, Jet Reno. But if you know Star Trek Discovery, Jet Reno was in Star Trek Discovery on occasion, and they're in Tig Notaro. They're in this series as well as Jet Reno as the physics instructor. Overall, my verdict for this episode, in my notes, it was a good follow-up. Great seeing the Federation in action, the negotiations, going, creating that connection. But also too, it was great to see the emotional side, the human of the Academy, of who they are, and what they stand for. So that's going to be wonderful to see that as well, because this is Starfleet Academy, so this is the future. Holly Hunter's character Nala Ake says they are the future ambassadors of our Federation and of our species, our universe. So I can't wait to see the evolution of how they mature into leadership roles and being on the front lines and the front foot of the Federation going forward. Guys, make sure I really appreciate that. If you really like this episode, if you really like this review of Starfleet Academy, we're going to do more of these. Make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. We really appreciate it. And if you want to add a little bit more support, we do have a Patreon at patreon.com/GR_network. You support us, it goes right back into the channel. Everything here is all for you. So thank you so much for joining us. And you know what? These last two episodes, man, it got me hooked on Star Trek. I'm a newer fan. I'm really loving this. Shout out to Chris Ingle and Brendan Marr, two of my well-known Star Trek fans. So I really appreciate that. I can't wait. I may do some other Star Trek stuff. So be on the lookout for that in the future. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I appreciate you so much. This is the post-credits review of Starfleet Academy Season 1, Episode 2. Peace out, y'all, and stay safe.